Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to this Thursday edition of FSU Weather. I'm student meteorologist Michael Anand.
And I'm student meteorologist Sarah Converse.
Yeah, so Sarah, we're still tracking the remnants of Gordon moving right now through Arkansas, not really impacting us locally anymore.
Yeah.
And then the other story in the tropics is Florence. That will impact a little bit of the East Coast, maybe into next week. We'll get into that into our show a little bit later.
Don't worry, we'll be tracking that out for you in just a moment. And that one's going to be a really tricky storm. I know the models have been changing ever so often of how close it's going to get to the East Coast.
Yeah, and it is the time of year we expect the tropics to ramp up. It's been a quiet August. Now they're starting to ramp up as we head into the beginning of September.
Yeah, finally, unlike the Pacific, which has been spitting out storms, but finally Atlantic is starting to awaken itself.
Yeah, and we'll get into all the tropics stuff later. I'll be giving you the tropics information you need to know for next week. Locally here, though, not really interesting. It's the typical summer pattern that you usually expect for the beginning of September, honestly. Just
feeling hot, 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 especially for the Northeast. But the goodness is, once I get to the national, there is a frontal system that will bring in some cooler temperatures from this. I know they have that heat advisory still until 7 p.m.
Yeah, we have it's been very hot in the Northeast, but a dramatic cool down, especially for the BMW Championship there in Philadelphia this week. It's gonna be an interesting story for them tomorrow, and we'll get into that in your national later in the show.
But for now, we're going to send it over to the overview with Margaret to start off the show.
Thanks, guys. That was a great preview of all the stuff going on around the rest of the country and the tropics for the show. We're going to take a look at what's happening locally now. 88 degrees here in Tallahassee. It is still hot, but we do have a lot of passing clouds around, so there is a good chance of catching some shade and a light breeze out of the east-northeast at 7 miles per hour to help cool you down. And depending on where you are in our viewing area, you might also get a passing shower to help cool things down a little bit more. For tonight, those passing showers persisting till around 8 or 9 p.m. Then things will drop down to around 72 with just very, very calm winds. For the rest of tonight's show, we'll be talking about how Gordon has weakened and Florence has strengthened, and we're keeping an eye on that. The heat and humidity is sticking around here in Tallahassee. And then we'll have a sneak peek at this weekend's football forecast, so stay tuned for that. But now I'm going to hand things over to AJ for our first local.
Thank you, Margaret. Yeah, we were pretty much right on average for this time of year. Our low temperature was a little bit above average, 75 degrees this morning, when we're used to that 71-degree mark. But our high temperature, right around what we're expecting for this time of year. Currently around the Big Bend region, looking at 88 degrees here in Tallahassee, 84 degrees in Valdosta and Thomasville, 86 degrees in Perry, and 90 degrees over in Quincy. Those dew points are up into that oppressive category, keeping things very muggy outside right now throughout much of the region. Tallahassee sitting at 73 degrees, as is Thomasville and Quincy. Perry sitting at 75 degrees, and Valdosta sitting at 74 degrees right now. Satellite radar here, you can see the remnants of Gordon sticking over parts of Arkansas right now, along with this big cold front that's draping across much of the Central Plains into the Northeast, bringing a lot of rain shower throughout the central part of the United States, along with some heavy storms that we are seeing start to develop in the northeastern part of the country. And as this cold front moves through, cooler temperatures will be in store for much of the Northeast. Locally here in Tallahassee, though, a few pop-up showers are starting to develop off to our east, making their way into the Tallahassee region. This line was pretty strong earlier in the afternoon, but starting to break up a little bit, so not expecting any severe weather to make its way into Tallahassee tonight. Just a few passing showers for the night ahead. Futurecast here as we continue throughout your Thursday evening. You can see those showers and storms start to move off to our west, keeping things pretty wet down by the coast and into the Gulf. Getting into your Friday morning, mostly clear skies waking up Friday morning. Temperatures will be in the low 70s once again, so the humidity will stick around for the remainder of the work week. Progressing throughout the day on Friday, a few scattered showers and storms start to make their way into the area in the afternoon hours, and those showers and storms will progress throughout the evening for your Friday as well. For tonight, temperatures remaining in the low 70s throughout much of the region, 72 degrees expected here in Tallahassee. And for tomorrow, pretty much wash, rinse, and repeat the forecast, looking at 90 degrees for us here in Tallahassee. Most of the region sticking in the 90s as well for your Friday. 7-day forecast here for your FSU weather has 90 degrees for your Friday, 90 degrees for your Saturday as well, and pretty much copy and paste that forecast onto your 7-day here. 90 degrees for your Sunday and Monday as well, with showers expected 50% chance each day for the next week or so. Pretty much that summertime forecast will be sticking around for us here in Tallahassee. But for now, I'm going to send things over to Michael to take a look at our tropics. What's going on, Michael?
Yeah, thanks, AJ. We're going to continue showing you the remnants of Gordon. Right now, it's centered over around Little Rock, Arkansas. You can see not much convection around the center. Lots of convection near the Gulf still. New Orleans and Biloxi and Gulfport getting a lot of shower and thunderstorm activity right now, as is shown by our satellite and radar. Lots of shower and thunderstorm activity in Mississippi, southern New Orleans, and in western Alabama and western Tennessee, with the circulation of Gordon right now centered smack in the central part of Arkansas. Now, ahead of the system, we are expecting lots of rainfall. You can already see they don't need the rainfall based on all these green lines. That is actually river flood warnings. So again, the ground is saturated, and as a result, we do have flash flood watches in effect for a lot of the central part of the country for Arkansas, Missouri, Illinois, and Indiana, up until Sunday for Illinois and Indiana, and up until Friday for Arkansas. Now, we're going to take a look out in the center part of the Atlantic. We're going to look again at Florence. You can see it's only a Category 1 hurricane. Yesterday, at this time, it was a Category 4. Today, it's been struggling a lot with shear and a lot of dry air to the south and west of the system, exposing that eye. You can see the eye right there, very exposed. That's why it's weakened a lot into an 80-mile-per-hour Category 1 hurricane, as you can see right here. As a result, the National Hurricane Center has updated their projected path, only projecting really a strong tropical storm to a weak Category 1 hurricane in the central part of the Atlantic for Florence. You can see tiny Bermuda up there. We will have to watch the system as we go into next week, as the models are really struggling seeing whether it will go out to sea or it could impact the East Coast. This is not going to happen really until the end of next week. So we will keep you updated on the path of Florence. As shown by our spaghetti models, you start to see what happens with Florence right now. But it basically, one takes it to Bermuda. The rest are taking it south of Bermuda, very on track for the East Coast. So we have to watch that very carefully. Invest 92L right now out towards Africa. It is expected to develop into our next named system, which is Helene. 80% chance of development in the next 48 hours. And right now, we are expecting it to take a track just north of the Caribbean. So we will monitor that for you going into next week. And we will take a look at finally the names of the systems. Gone all the way through Gordon right now. And if Invest 92 does develop into next week, it will become Helene. Now let's send it back to the desk with Margaret and AJ.
Thank you, Michael. Yeah, so pretty cool stuff going on over in Britain right now. They just released a new satellite called the Aeolus satellite, and it's starting to track some winds throughout the entire globe, something that we've never got to experience in the past.
Yeah, one of the important things in terms of the data that gets fed into our weather models, both the ones produced by American scientists and scientists around the world, are upper air observations from the balloon launches. If you've been around the Love Building on FSU's campus at 7 in the morning or 7 in the evening, you may have seen those balloon launches going up. And that's important data for the models.
Yeah, so this is the main way that we've been getting all this data for the models for the past 20, 30 years, even 50 years. Yeah, so now that they've launched this satellite, they're able to track the winds throughout the entirety of the globe for from the surface all the way up to 30 kilometers. So it should really improve our forecasting techniques in the future.
Yes, this Aeolus satellite uses lasers to measure the winds throughout the entire vertical profile of the atmosphere that's relevant for these forecasts. And having this increased data coverage, especially over the oceans where we don't have people launching balloons twice a day, and over sparsely populated regions, is expected to bring huge improvements to weather forecasting because we'll have better data going into the computer models.
And it's really expected to bring the greatest improvement in our mid to long-term forecasting, which is really what we struggle with the most as of right now. I mean, we pretty much got it down from anywhere from 3 to 5 days out, but anywhere over 5 days out is really tough to forecast for all of us forecasters out there. So this satellite should really help to improve that forecasting for 7 to 10 days out.
And even for days 3 through 5, it will bring big improvements there, especially for systems like tropical cyclones, like Florence out there in the Atlantic right now. It'll improve the data coverage on the storms before the hurricane hunters are able to get there, improving our forecasts and giving people here in the United States and in other countries better lead time when storms are going to hit so that they can prepare better. Yeah, really exciting stuff going on out in space right now. But for now, we're actually going to send things over to Sarah with a look at our national forecast.
Thanks, guys. So the big picture right now for the national is that if you look over to the east side, we have really warm temperatures over crossing the northeast. If you look at Washington, D.C., 91, and because of that moisture, it's going to be feeling a lot warmer than that as we have all these muggy temperatures of these dew points, 77 in New Orleans, 72 in Washington, D.C., so it's almost like you're swimming through the air. But the good news is we do have this frontal system sitting right here over Missouri, draping all the way down into Texas, and this system is going to hopefully bring in some of those cooler temperatures back down into the mid-70s. But behind the front, if we go off into the west, we do see some isolated showers and a few storms, but the only sad thing about this is not going to be enough rain to help into this drought factor, as a lot of the west is still sitting under that drought, especially in New Mexico, Arizona, Colorado, and Utah, sitting in that extreme drought to exceptional drought. But the good news is for the northeast, as we have all those warm temperatures, this cold front's going to bring in that rain, lowering down these rain chances. So we're going to have some of a heat relief for the northeast. So that is a good news for them as it's draping over, bringing down these heat advisories as they have those heat advisories still going into 7 p.m. So with that rain, it's going to drop those temperatures down significantly down into the mid-70s. So I'm sure you guys up there are probably very happy to see this cold front coming through. Now for the upper level water vapor, we can see some of the remnants of Gordon over into the Oklahoma, Missouri area as it's being stalled out by this cold front, bringing a lot of that rain. And because of all that rain from the cold front and the remnants of Gordon, we do have some flash flood washes into Missouri, Indiana, and Illinois, and in parts of Arkansas as well. So they're going to be sitting under those flash flood warnings. Now for tonight, though, we're going to be bringing out into the west, seeing those cooler temperatures up in the 50s. Lucky for you guys, but back home, going to be still sitting in those 70s, so pretty on the moderate side, so not too muggy out. But for tomorrow, there's that cold front bringing in those cooler temperatures. 87 for Washington, D.C. as they have that rainfall. So that's the good news for them, as we saw 92 or 91. Now it's back down 87, but still back home, we're going to be seeing those warm temperatures all around. But for now, I'm going to send it over to Michael with our local.
Yeah, thanks, Sarah. Locally, it's a pretty typical pattern here in Tallahassee. Very nice conditions overall, but it's been hot and humid. That's the summary of the game here. 88 degrees in Tallahassee, 91 in Bainbridge, 90 in Quincy. Cooler in Thomasville and Valdosta with only 84 degrees, so nice cool conditions there. Dew points, we were telling you it feels muggy outside, but it's nothing really atypical for the beginning of September. Dew points well into the middle 70s here in Tallahassee locally. So again, once you go outside, you sweat immediately because it's not easy for your body to cool off with these high dew points. Hence our heat indexes, with the exception of Thomasville, Valdosta, all of our heat indexes are well into the 90s, close to 100 degrees, 98 in Quincy, 97 in Apalachicola, and 96 in Tallahassee. The main story across the nation is this cold front, which is going to basically converge with the remnants of Gordon and bring the flash flooding threat once again to the central part of the country. But locally, we don't really have much going on in Tallahassee, just basically these sea breeze showers from the Atlantic sea breeze. And that's going to be the name of the game for basically for the next 7 days at least. Going into our futurecast, you can see that the showers and storms do die off gradually as we go overnight. Mostly clear skies in Tallahassee and the surrounding areas. And then as we go into tomorrow morning, we do see the clouds build up and the showers build up in the afternoon, right around 3:30, basically like clockwork. And then they do die down as we head into the nighttime hours. For tonight's forecast, 72 degrees with some scattered thunderstorms here or there early, but very muggy indeed if you don't have a thunderstorm nearby. For tomorrow's forecast, very typical for the beginning of September, 90 degrees here in Tallahassee, 90 in Quincy as well, 88 in Thomasville with a chance of an afternoon shower or storm. Going into the 7-day forecast, you can see that we do have a very typical rain chance for this time of year, around 50%, with highs around 90 degrees and lows in the low to mid 70s. So again, it's a very typical pattern here for us in Tallahassee. Now let's send it back to the desk with Sarah and Margaret.
Sweet, thanks, Michael. So we have a lot to talk about also locally with some events going on too.
Yep, we're getting to the end of the week, and Thursday's a great time to plan what you're doing for the weekend. And if your weekend starts early, like some people I know don't have Friday classes, tonight's a great night to go see Avengers Infinity War at the Student Life Cinema here on campus if you're an FSU student, or you just want to go watch Infinity War again.
Yeah, it was a really good movie, so definitely go out there. It's from Thursday to Friday if you're going to go at 7 o'clock or 10:30, so if you miss one, you can still go to the other if you still have classes.
Yep, and just a reminder to any of our students who may be watching movies at the Student Life Cinema, the SLC, they're free for students to get in. So it's
magical word.
free to get in there, and it is a pretty cheap ticket price for any other community members that may want to go there too.
We also have, since Saturday, the weekend is coming up, that means football time. So we have the football game on Saturday at 7:20 against Samford. So definitely go to that. And we have also other stuff before
and I'll
that
have the
too.
forecast in my local later on for that football game. And leading up to the football game, Friday night, if you're not going to see Avengers Infinity War down in College Town, there's the Friday night block party. It starts at 7 p.m. and goes till about 10, and they've got food, drinks, and entertainment there.
Yeah, awesome. And if you're not really a football fan, you like watching our marching Chiefs because they are fantastic. I love watching them.
I love the marching Chiefs.
Oh my gosh.
And they're the reason I started going to football games. So the marching Chiefs have their skull session 2 hours before kickoff, so that'll be around 5:20 on Saturday evening, and they'll do their warm-ups and preview the halftime show.
Yeah, definitely. So you can have a little mini concert before the game, but also remember though, when you go to the game, it is going to be staying in, as we've been talking about, it's going to be staying in that hot, icky, sticky pattern. So make sure you stay hydrated. Make sure you always reapply that sunscreen.
Especially if you're going out tailgating before the game. It's going to be sunny on Saturdays, so definitely lather on the sunscreen and reapply it as needed throughout the afternoon, because I can speak from experience, sunburns are not fun.
No, they're not. And also always make sure to have that water bottle with you. I know it might be a bit of annoyance to have it carrying around with you, but it's good for you. You need to make sure you stay hydrated as we're going to be staying warm out there. So yeah, but I think for now we're sending over to AJ with Around Florida. So what's up going around Florida, AJ?
Thank you, guys. Yeah, let's go ahead and take a look and see what's going around the Sunshine State. 88 degrees here in Tallahassee, 79 degrees in Pensacola, and they're still seeing the remnants of Gordon, giving them that rain shower. 83 degrees down in Tampa, 86 degrees in Orlando and Jacksonville, and 81 degrees in West Palm Beach, where they are also seeing a rain shower, keeping their temperatures on the cooler side. Dew points here in Florida, keeping things very muggy throughout the entirety of the state. 76-degree dew point in Pensacola, well into the oppressive category for dew points. 73 degrees here in Tallahassee, 75 degrees in Jacksonville and West Palm Beach, and looking at 74 degrees in Tampa and Miami. Satellite and radar here shows a few strong showers moving off the west coast of Florida, making their way through Tampa earlier in the hour, making their way off into the Caribbean Sea and the Gulf. Mostly dry on the west coast of Florida, though. Few showers moved through the state earlier in the afternoon into the evening hours, but looking mostly dry throughout the remainder of the night. Zooming on in here to South Florida, you can see those showers moved off earlier in the afternoon. You can see those here moving off the coast of Fort Myers into the Gulf. Few showers starting to make their way through West Palm Beach as well. That is due to that sea breeze pushing all the moisture off the Atlantic, giving a lot of convection for those storms to pop up throughout much of South Florida. Now for tomorrow in South Florida, pretty uniform temperatures along the coast, 87 degrees, and storms, pretty much what we expect for this time of year throughout much of South Florida, with 87 degrees expected in Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and West Palm Beach. And the hot spot on the map is Naples at a whopping 88 degrees. So pretty uniform temperatures expected for your Friday in South Florida. Moving on up to North Florida, pretty much same going on for them. Few sea breeze, showers, and storms starting to develop around Jacksonville and Daytona Beach, moving their way west across the state, keeping things nice and moist throughout the entirety of the state. Now for tomorrow in North Florida, pretty uniform temperatures once again, with temperatures remaining in the low to mid 80s on the East Coast. Temperatures getting a little bit warmer as we get into the middle of the state and along the west coast of the state. But 83 degrees expected in St. Augustine, with those scattered showers and afternoon storms expected once again. 84 degrees for Palm Coast, 85 degrees for Jacksonville, and 87 degrees expected for tomorrow in Gainesville. As we move over to the east side of the state, looks like I skipped through that graphic there, so we might come back to that later. Here it is, 90 degrees for Mariana in the Panhandle tomorrow, 88 degrees in Panama City with scattered showers and afternoon storms expected once again, 87 degrees in Destin and Crestview, and Pensacola finally getting some relief from Tropical Storm Gordon, with sunny skies expected for their Friday with temperatures in the upper 80s. For tonight across the Sunshine State, temperatures remaining in the low to mid to upper 70s throughout the state, with 79 degrees expected in Key West, 75 degrees expected in Miami and Tampa, 74 degrees in Orlando, and scattered showers and storms will persist throughout the evening for much of the state. For tomorrow, looking at 85 degrees in Jacksonville, 88 in Orlando. Hotspot on the map here will be Tampa with 91 degrees expected. And pretty much throughout the entirety of the state, feels like I'm on repeat here, but afternoon showers and storms will be expected, with temperatures remaining in the upper 80s to low 90s. But for now, I'm going to send things over to Margaret to give us our final look at the local forecast and that football forecast that we've been teasing you guys with all night.
Thanks, AJ. Zooming in here, back here to the Big Bend. Perry, 84, so is Valdosta, and Thomasville's even down to 81. And as we'll see on the radar in a moment, these are the places that have had some showers pass through those lines that we've seen all through the show on the radar loops from the east. Tallahassee hasn't quite had that rain yet, so we are still all the way up at 88. Across the entire area, though, dew points are very, very high. Perry, 73, Valdosta, 74. There's nowhere shown on this map that has a dew point below 70, and that means that it is very, very muggy outside and that it's extra important to take hydration important. As we zoom out to our satellite and radar across the entire country, we do have a cold front here along much of the U.S., going from the northeast down through central U.S. down into Texas, and you can still see a bit of the spin here of what's left of Gordon there. But as we zoom in here on the radar, the high pressure is back in control, meaning our storms are coming out of the east as the high pressure amplifies that Atlantic sea breeze. So those storms are pushing through, and we almost have some here in Tallahassee. So if you're planning on heading out, bring an umbrella just in case you get caught in a passing shower. Those showers should clear out through the night so that by tomorrow morning we're back to the clear, just passing clouds in the morning. And then as we go through to tomorrow afternoon, those passing storms do redevelop, come again out of the east. And so we do have that chance of rain for tomorrow. So again, pack your umbrellas as you head out for things tomorrow, both in the afternoon and in the early evening. We still have that spotty shower coverage. Now here's your long promised FSU versus Samford forecast. Kickoffs at 7:20 p.m., which we anticipate it'll be in the mid 80s, around 86. It's going to be another hot and humid start to a football game. But on the plus side, because we have that 7:20 kickoff, it will be shady across most of the stadium So you won't be baking in the sun, especially those of us in the student section. We will have a bit of shade there, and the temperatures will cool off as the game goes on. So there's some good news there. As for tomorrow's day planner, waking up in the low 70s, around 73 at 7 in the morning, and then warming up quickly, 84 by noon and all the way up to 88, close to 90 by 4 p.m., so do be prepared for hot temperatures tomorrow. Over the next 7 days, a lot of the same. We've got those scattered clouds and storms, around a 40 or 50% chance of rain. Highs right around that 90-degree mark, and lows just above 70. So however you've been getting through the last couple of days, that's going to keep you going for the next week. Hopefully we'll start seeing fall patterns in the coming weeks. But that'll be something to keep an eye on in the future. But now I'm going to send things to Sarah and Michael to close out the show.
Thanks, Margaret. So again, when you look at that 7-day, talk about being in a rut.
Yeah.
In terms of our weather.
It's going to be hot, and just hot. And that icky, sticky pattern is going to continue on for the rest of the week, as the heat's really going to be continuing. So yeah, make sure to always stay hydrated and have that sunscreen on with you if you have outdoor plans this weekend.
It's basically just the sea breeze pattern to cool us down. That's the only thing we can really rely on. Not really getting any cold fronts in the near term. Maybe by the end of September we might get one cold front to move through here. Cold front. We'll see if we actually get that by the end of September. Too early to tell.
Yes.
Again, we do have the heat. Now it's finally going to go away in the Northeast.
Yes, good news for them.
Flooding in the Midwest, so we'll keep you tuned on that. Again, there's a look at our 7-day forecast with the pretty typical rain chances.
Yeah, so always make sure if you do have some outdoor plans for this weekend, make sure to have the umbrella just in case, or a backup plan if you do hear thunder roar, go indoors. But for the next week, we're going to slightly drop those rain chances, but still going to be sitting in those isolated showers and storms into that afternoon time. So it's always best in Tallahassee to always have an umbrella with you. But
yeah, talk about consistency. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/FSU weather.
And also like us on Facebook, that we also post our social media update pages on that. We'll keep you up to date on hurricanes.
Yeah, we are always live on YouTube, youtube.com/FSU weather/live for the live stream.
And also follow us on Instagram. Send us some cool pics of what you do during the weekend, or if you see some nice summer pattern going on. If you see some storms, send them some cool storm pics.
Yeah, well, cool storm pics across the Gulf maybe and all that. Again, we do have the flooding in the Midwest. We have to worry about that later into the week. There's another day at the 7-day forecast with the rain chances. Once again, football forecast, we'll give you that again tomorrow. Saturday is looking pretty good. By the time the game starts, sun will be setting, so it will be just a muggy game.
Yeah, but hopefully it's a good game. Hopefully we win. So let's go out there and root for our Knowles. But yeah, so that's really it.
Basically, that's it for our show for tonight. So for all of us here at FSU Weather, I'm student meteorologist Michael Annan.
And I'm student meteorologist Sarah Converse. Have a great night.